A couple of years ago, when I was starting out as a video editor, I did something that seems absolutely stupid, but in reality turned out to be quite genius and made me make a bunch of progress a lot faster than majority of video editors would. And that thing was literally rejecting clients. Now, let me explain why not rejecting clients is keeping you stuck and how you can start doing this in order to make a bunch of progress and get to 5 to 10K per month with video editing, 1K per video, whatever, everything that you might want, right? So at the time I was charging 300 per video. That was my highest paying project so far. And honestly, I didn't have much client work at all. I had this video that I just finished for 300. So I kind of set that as my new price point that I've already cracked. And I was trying to get to 350. So all the new inbound that I was getting on Twitter, I was saying to them that my rate is 350. And how I was saying that is I would say my rate for 8 to 12 minute video is going to be that. And I remember there were at least two, but honestly it might be like 3 or 4 clients who asked, well, what if my video is shorter? Or what if I don't need that many animations? And what I did is I just didn't want to drop my price. And keep in mind, I really did not have a lot of client work at the time, and it's not like I didn't need money. My thought process behind it was that if I get a 6-minute video, I'm still gonna charge 350 because I know I'm gonna put a lot of time into it regardless. I'm gonna put the same amount of time and the same amount of effort into this 6-minute video as I would in a 12-minute video. And that's obviously gonna make this 6-minute video really, really good. So I just never really dropped my prices, and I ended up rejecting these clients even though I didn't have many at the time. And then I particularly remember the message from the client who I'm working to this day, which at this point has been like 2 years. The client that I ended up raising my prices up to 2.5K per video. And that wasn't one-time project, that was like basically weekly videos. The message went, what are your normal rates? Our videos might be a bit more complex though. And at the time I already had a client paying me 450 per video. So the next kind of milestone I tried to crack was 500. And that's what I said. My normal rate is 500, but for more complex videos, we can do 700. Does that fit your budget? And their reply was absolutely. That is the exact type of clients you are going for, and that is the exact type of clients you're gonna end up attracting if you don't waste your time on these people who are trying to lowball you, and instead of trying to push you to do your best work and are willing to pay you extra money for that, they're trying to do the opposite. They're trying to get you to spend less time on videos or just cut corners, stuff like that. But then that's gonna enable them to pay you less money. And working with clients like that, if you are, then that's stopping and making you progress so much slower than you could be, just because you aren't being constantly pushed by your client to improve and to deliver your best work. You want to be working with people who are giving you more and more challenging projects every time, who are trying to, push you and are willing to pay extra money for that. Because obviously you're going to be learning new skills. You're going to be improving with every single video, and you're going to end up making this client's life a lot easier because they have high requirements, high expectations from you. So if you can fulfill that, then you're gonna take a lot from their plate and make their life a lot easier. But now let's actually talk about how to attract clients like that, because it's all well and good until you actually, need to go out of your way and start attracting people like that. So step 0 is to just adopt this mindset of not working with people who are trying to lowball you, because that's gonna make you waste time and you aren't gonna improve, and that's not good for your long-term growth. And that's exactly what we're trying to optimize here, because your goal is to get to 5 to 10K per month, and that's a long-term goal, and you need to be growing to achieve that goal. So long-term growth is the goal. Now, once we are done with that step 0, the next step is going to be to become a specialist. People who are willing to pay a lot of money for your work, they aren't looking for a jack of all trades, someone who is decent at everything, who's, doing thumbnails on his side and who's editing short form here and there. They want someone who's the best at what they do, and they would rather hire 5 people who are the best at what they do rather than one guy who's decent, and they're gonna end up wasting so much time managing this guy, giving him revisions on all these 5 things, and quality of the work that he's gonna be producing isn't even gonna be good. So becoming a specialist honestly might make you land less clients, but those clients are gonna be way higher quality. And niching down, becoming a specialist works kind of in layers. So first layer is to first of all decide that you're actually a video editor, focus on that, not trying to run up an agency on the side or do scripts and thumbnails. The second layer would be to decide if you want to edit short form or long form. And I think here the decision is quite obvious. You always want to be editing long form because that's where the leverage is. That's where people are making money, content creators are making money. Long form is where I would go. And then actually niching down in terms of deciding which type of content and maybe even which niche to edit. So in terms of types of content, there are 4. It's talking head, vlog/IRL, faceless documentary, and gaming. Basically, what you want to do is to just decide on the type of content that you're in and honestly never switch that almost. All of these content types, they require different skills to become a really good video editor at. So the higher paying clients that we're really trying to attract here, it's just gonna take time for you to basically build these skills up within each content type. And when you switch the content type, a lot of the skills and a lot of the time that you invested developing those skills kind of goes to waste because you need to learn new ones. And in terms of niche, honestly, I don't even think it is that important, but within each content type, there are different niches. So if you take talking head videos can be about anything. It can be about finance, about productivity, about, I'm sure there are talking head videos about knitting or something. Honestly, this is not as important as long as you are, if your content type is talking head, as long as you're staying within talking head, you are good. You're making progress and you are improving towards, building these skills up and attracting high paying clients. Now, after becoming a specialist, I think a huge thing is to make everything feel premium. I think this is what differentiated me personally from a bunch of editors, is paying attention to design, both within your brand, so all the assets that you are creating for yourself in terms of your portfolio, your X profile, everything, but also within your actual edits. Design is insanely important, and design is what makes videos feel premium. And the biggest hack to improve at design that has helped me personally the most is to just start paying attention to it. You consume content, or you obviously just use digital devices, and if you can start paying attention to why the things look the way they look, you're gonna start noticing interesting patterns, like for example, color combinations that look well together or don't look well together. Certain font is portraying certain thing and another font portraying another thing. And also just developing your own taste. I think taste is such an important and essential skill to have. If you can look at something and immediately say that it looks off, that is really good because you're going to be able to do that for your work. When you're creating animations or just anything, you're going to be able to take a critical look at it and say, okay, this doesn't look as good. Why doesn't it look as good? Let me try and fix this. When you start doing that kind of feedback loop with yourself, that's where your design skills skyrocket, because you're gonna end up improving that scene, realizing what the mistake was, and you aren't gonna repeat the same mistake in the future. If you want to check out a video where I go a bit more tactically on design, I'm gonna have it somewhere in the corner popping up, but basically I just break down a couple of essential design principles that you should be using as a video editor, because they are incredibly important and majority of video editors completely ignore them. Now, the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to attracting these higher paying clients is going out of your comfort zone. And that sounds insanely wishy-washy, but I'm not talking about cold showers or anything like that, but actually comfort zone within editing. Because what happens to the vast majority of editors that I speak to is they end up going in cycles where they just do the same thing over and over again when it comes to their editing. And it can be as small as, I don't know, the drop shadow preset they're using, or the way they cut videos, or the way they think about animations, just anything. And this is entirely normal, especially if you have a client who you've been working with for a long time. A couple of weeks ago, a new guy joined my mentorship program, and he has been working with his client for over a year on weekly videos. And the videos that their client is making are quite repetitive in their nature. It's just talking head where the guy sits down and he doesn't really experiment with things, nothing like that. So obviously the editing style of this guy got quite repetitive as well, which honestly isn't a bad thing on its own. Like if you have a very high paying client who just needs you to execute on their vision and get faster at editing their videos while not dropping quality, and they don't need you to experiment as much, you can do that. But if you aren't there yet, if you haven't landed that client just yet, and you are kind of working on building yourself up to that point, then you need to be experimenting. Because when you are stuck in this loop of just doing the same thing over and over again, what happens is, let's say your editing can be as bad as 0 and as good as 100. When you're stuck just in what you're comfortable with, your editing doesn't go below like 30 on this scale, but it also can't go above 40. And obviously the fact that it can drop below 30 is good, like you aren't gonna miss deadlines because you're familiar with the style and you know what you're doing. But the fact that it can't go above 40, the fact that you have this ceiling is really bad for your growth. So how do you actually tactically execute on this and start experimenting, even if you have a consistent client that you need to be delivering client work for? So I wouldn't experiment as much on the client work because, you know, you have a risk of missing deadlines and all of that, and letting your client down isn't good. Never do that. But what I would start doing is I would start doing practice edits. I think practice edits are awesome because that's basically like a personal project for you, and you don't have any guidelines whatsoever. You can turn your craziest ideas into life, and this is exactly what I would be trying to do. A good thing to do as well is to create an inspiration board for yourself. Just go through editors or YouTube channels that you really like, and some of the channels that pop into my head are Skymography, Mapal, and there is this guy named Callaway. His editing is quite cool as well. So literally taking screenshots of the animations they have in their videos is gonna help a lot with getting new ideas. But also obviously an awesome way to get inspiration like that is X or Twitter. A bunch of people doing cool stuff there. And if you try to pick up on those ideas and then do something entirely different on these practice edits than what you would do in your normal client work, trust me, that's gonna make you improve a lot. And not only that, but also you're gonna be able to then post that practice edit or re-edit on your X or Twitter. And because you have as much time as you want, you're gonna make it really good and it's gonna perform really well. And then that's gonna make you attract inbounds. I appreciate you watching. If you are making 1 to 2K per month with video editing and you want to scale to 5 to 10K per month with video editing, click the first link in the description. Otherwise, I'm gonna see you in the next one. Peace.